Going on, guys? And in this video what we're going to be doing is going over the newest patch in SMITE, which is patch 5.3, Hero of the Trojan War. And you can see here we have a new god. Last time we had Cerberus, which was a... what's Cerberus? Is Cerberus Roman? No, Greek. Cerberus is Greek, right? I don't know. Whatever Cerberus is, we got a Greek warrior. Cerberus, Hades, whatever Hades is. Hades is... Greek, yeah. All right, so we got another Greek one, I'm pretty sure. Greek warrior here, Achilles. Pretty, I don't want to say famous, because gods can't really be famous, but another well-known, god. Like Apollo, Hades, it's not like a Xbalanque or a Camazotz where there's not a lot of information. No, you can look up the lore and find all the info with Chiron and all of that. He's a prominent one in god history, so... Passive is a little nuts. It's called Gift of the Gods. Let me explain it. Actually, I'll read it first. So he adapts the tide of battle, blah, 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 blah. Actually, let me explain it first, because basically when you're in your passive, you get to choose which stance you want to be in. You get to, or when you're in your passive, when you're in your fountain, sorry. So you get to choose to be in defensive stance, and when you do that, you're a little more tanky, obviously, and he has this big, huge armor on. Or you can choose to be in offensive stance. His armor gets taken off. He becomes a little more agile. He's a solo jungler hybrid, kind of. So basically here, you can choose to wear armor, granting him health protections, or forego it, granting him movement speed and physical power. So Achilles gains 35 plus 10 health per level, and then 5 plus 1 protection per level if you're in your defensive stance, and then unarmored stance, you gain additional 3% movement speed plus 0.25% per level, and 10 physical power plus 2 per level. So really cool thing right there. When they showed it in the patch notes, you could only choose this stance in your fountain, so I'm guessing that's how it's going to be. His first ability is called Shield of Achilles. Punches forward with the edge of his shield, inflicting massive damage and stunning enemy targets hit by the impact. The force of his punch continues to radiate past his initial target area, dealing 80% damage the farther the way. So this is essentially a huge cone. Think of like, it actually kind of sounds and looks like Athena's taunt a little bit, but it's bigger. It's a pretty wide area, and he just does damage like that. That's really all it is. You see the damage scales from 100 to 340 plus 90% of your physical power. So this dude is a true hybrid. This is Cullen, Sun Wukong, where all those types of god, Erlang, they can do solo jungle hybrid. This is the epitome of that. He is true flip-flop. He also stuns if you hit them. 1.1 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Has a 15-second cooldown. There's a cost. His second ability, Chains with his 1. He's blessed by the gods, giving him bonus physical power, protections, and crowd control reduction for 6 seconds. While it's active, he heals himself upon successfully damaging enemies with abilities. So you can see his heal here goes from 23 to 35, plus 10% of your physical power. During the patch notes, the heal didn't look too crazy, so it doesn't look like this will be a big problem. The max heal per abilities you can see there, bonus physical power, protections, and crowd control you get. So what you can do is just chain this with your 1, essentially, if you're low. So if you're half health, pop your 2, hit your 1, heal up. The more enemies you hit, the more you get healed. Kind of like Ratatasker in that sense. Combat dodge. This is basically Rama. You know how Rama can choose to dash in 8 different directions? So can Achilles. And he also has an attack after. So when Rama has his attack, he can cripple a target. Well, Achilles gets a spear attack. Kind of like Cuchulain's spear attack. It looks a lot like that. So whenever you combat roll, you can hit that. Now, if you successfully hit a god with that spear attack, you can combat dodge again and hit another god. You can only do that up to twice, though. So you can combat dodge, hit an enemy god, combat dodge, and then you get another spear. If you combat dodge, hit an enemy god, combat dodge, hit an enemy god again, doesn't matter. You can't combat dodge anymore. It's a limit of 2 rolls, and you have to hit an enemy god. So if you combat dodge and hit an enemy minion, oh well, you lose the second one. You have to hit an enemy god to get that second one to go off. The damage from hitting it, the spear afterwards, is 65 to 225 plus 50% of your power, 10-second cooldown. And the cost is relatively low too, which is nice. I would assume it costs for each time though. So if you dodge twice, it'll cost 48. That would be my guess. And you can also not do damage by the combat dodge itself, only the spear afterwards. His ultimate, he has an execute, and he can get a pentakill off this execute. Basically, he kind of like hovers in the air a little bit and just stabs. And that's the ability. That's really all it is. But you see the little execute threshold, and that's what it is. So if you execute someone, you can use it again and execute someone again and use it again. So you can literally chain it all together. Every time you get an execute, it resets. It also does damage. You don't have to just execute. You can see there the damage is 180 to 540 plus 100% of your physical power. So it does do some damage. The execute threshold is 30%. However, there is something to kind of help this a little bit. So let's actually read through. Whenever you do execute, the damage you take gets increased. So if you execute 4 people, you're taking 40% increased damage after that. So as Achilles successfully executes his enemies, he becomes more reckless in combat and leaves his heel exposed. Ha ha ha. You get it? Achilles heel. Achilles will become more susceptible to damage, stacking up to 5 times. So 50% actually, but if you get all 5 of those kills, that's a penta and no one else is on the map. Unless it's like, 2 minutes into the game. And this is his recolor. His recolor just makes his hair brunette and changes the color of everything like that. God skins. There's actually a lot to go over, and I will be making videos on all of them whenever they release the PTS, so be on the lookout for those. First one is Cage Ratatasker. This is the second fox skin in this series. Kitsune Ratatasker was the first one. This is the second. They will release a third one in 2 more weeks, and if you collect all 3, you get the final fusion.
These fools need to get out of my forest! Don't you see the no trespassing sign? There isn't room for everyone!
Jeez. I will say this, all of the abilities are the same as Kitsune Ratatasker, but they have completely different voice packs and personalities. This is the darker version, obviously, and Kitsune's the anime happy smiley one, so.
Foolish mortals. Now they will realize the true power of the undead.
Abyssal Warrior Wukong. Pretty cool there. A Chuck skin, skulls and eyeballs, but I always think they look cool. They do get a little redundant, but they're always awesome. Next on the list is Countess Chunga. Chunga finally gets an evil and sinister skin. I'm so excited. Chunga's probably my... she might be my favorite god in Smite. She's definitely top 3, top 5. I can't think of any that off the top of my head that'd be above her right now, but I love Chunga. She's just so fun, and I've always done really well with her. And she's got good skins. What's the one skin? I just call it Sexual Chocolate Chunga, but that's one of my favorite voice packs in Smite. But she doesn't have like a dark skin. They're all usually princess themed, except for that Galactica Warrior one, but
the moon is
not
bright
this.
and the night is young. These mortals don't stand a chance.
Such a great skin. Next we have Pot of Gold Fafnir. This is exactly what you think it is. He's a leprechaun. He even laughs and goes hoity-toity-toy. So it's the most stereotypical thing you could think of. And when he's in dragon form, he is the most cartoony dragon ever. It's pretty cool.
You must feel very lucky. I am a rare sight, you see.
Next, we have the next skin in potential Smite copyright infringement. Playful Bunny Nuwa. Yeah, it's the Playboy Bunny. I mean, it couldn't get any more obvious than that. They did try to go somewhat Easter themed, so her weapons are eggs. And her little clay soldiers are these, like, chocolate candy marshmallow type things. I don't know. But that's the only Easter thing. Then there's a rainbow effect. The rest is complete Playboy bunnies. So, Playful Bunny Nuwa.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. These are my marshmallow friends. Sticky, Fluffy, and... oh yeah, that's Bob. Say hi, Bob.
Hey.
Okay. These are some bug fix issues, which we're not going to go over because bugs are no longer in the game if they're fixed. Some miscellaneous stuff here. Adjusted the DJ skins, so Bass Drop Janus, DJ Om Ganesh, and Heaven's Ray Zeus, so they can all move with their VXG emotes. Yes, that'll be so exciting. Ranked draft time adjustments. Reduce the planning phase from 30 seconds to 15 seconds, and reduce the amount of bank time, from 60 seconds to 40 seconds. This is just for Conquest and Joust, not Duel. Boosters have their cost adjusted. 1-day booster goes from 150 to 100, 3-day from 300 to 250, and the 30-day from 1300 to 500. So wow, a 30-day booster for only 500 gems. That is a really good price. Considering for half that, you get 3 days. So if you were to buy 2 of these, you'd get 6-day booster, when if you buy 1, you get a 30-day. That's a huge improvement. While active boosters will provide plus 30 fantasy points to each player that claims their daily login bonus. Added a rainbow recall skin and a rainbow level up effects as well. Console players now have access to all VGS commands. Wow, I haven't played on PS4 Smite in over a year. So I'm curious to see, because there was a lot of commands that were left out. They got the important ones, but there were a lot of like miscellaneous ones. But I don't know how you could incorporate that, because there's only a limited amount of, you know, button combinations you can do on that. So we'll have to see. I might actually make a video on PlayStation. I might get back on soon and show you all the VGS commands. So be on the lookout for that video if you're excited for that. Non-conquest game modes. Wait, what? Attacker's Blessing, Defender's Blessing, and Specialist Blessing have returned. Alright, so they're back. Conquest, Oracle's health adjusted. Base health from 760 to 680, and the scaling health gets increased to compensate by 10. Decrease the base power of the Big Centaur, the Big Manticore, the Big Shimera, and the Big Satyr from 24 to 18. On to the item balance. Soul Gem is returned to Smite. It's been removed for the past couple patches to kind of adjust some stuff. So it's new passive. On a successful hit of an ability, you gain 1 stack. At 4 stacks, your next ability that damages an enemy god will deal bonus damage equal to 40% of your magical power and will heal yourself and allies within 20 units for 40% and of magic power, and will consume the 4 stacks. Okay, so the similar concept to before, they just made some tweaks to it and stuff like that to make it, you know, workable. Doom Orb, updated self-buff effects for when Doom Orb's passive activates. Typhoons Fang getting some nerfs here. I think this is the second patch they've nerfed it. Decreased the magical lifesteal by 5%, and then they decreased the passive healing bonus by 10%. So Typhoons Fang has been an amazing item, especially when you pair it with Bancroft's Talon, especially on a god like Anubis, and then you're just unstoppable. So good to see some nerfs happening there. Warlock's Staff. I almost said Warlock's Sash. I'm not quite used to that. Decreased the physical power by 10, and decreased the power per stack by 0.1. Warlock's Staff now provides 115 magical power when fully evolved, down from 135. So nerfs all the way around for these two items, and these two have been some of the strongest mage items, so makes sense. Book of the Dead decreased 25% to 15% mana used to form shield. Malice decreased the physical power on it by 10, but increased the crit strike chance by 5%. It also has a new passive. Every crit against an enemy god gives a stack. At 3 stacks, your next ability that damages an enemy god will consume the stacks and deal bonus damage over time to the first god hit for 120% of your physical power. Damage dealt is 3 ticks over 2 seconds. So this deals a bleed effect. That's pretty cool to have a bleed on a crit item like that. Rage increased cost from 2400 to 2500. However, it decreased the physical power from 30 to 20. Increased the strike chance per stack by 1% to 2%. Now provides 40% total crit chance when evolved, up from 35%. So increase the cost a little bit and decrease the base power, but to compensate for that, increase the crit strike per chance, and then you increase the total crit when it's evolved. So just balancing it out. Soul Eater decreased the stacks needed from 100 to 75 and increased the bonus physical power on evolved from 10 to 20. Now provides 60 physical power, up from 50, so a total buff all the way around for Soul Eater. Warrior's Blessing. Increase evolved bonus protections from 10-10 to 15-15, and decrease the stack gain from gods from 5 to 3. Hunter's Blessing adjusted how the item provides basic attack damage. Okay, fixed an issue where the indicator with various abilities this is in the game. I'm not going to read through all that. Oh, actually down here, anyone with the slower hit chain, and in others is a nerf for characters. Okay, god balances. Arachne. I'm sorry if you keep seeing me wipe my upper lip. It is just really hot in my room. It went from like 30 degrees earlier this week to 75 somehow, so it's hot in my room. I don't have the air on, so there's no background noise for you, so I'm sticking it out right now. God balances. I'm excited about this first one. Arachne is getting an interesting change that I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to do to her. I'm just excited for it. You get the cooldown reduced on her webs by 2 seconds. Now she can have 3 webs out at once. The start of Season 5 jungling is a lot easier because the junglers can clear by themselves at level 1 and just go from camp to camp. So imagine Arachne being able to web speed buff, web blue buff, web back harpies. So have 3 webs out, you know, so you can just go back to back. I'm not sure if that whole strategy would work. You might want to leave 1 on the back harpies and then 2 on the speed buff right away, something like that. So, but whatever it is, the start for Arachne is going to be a lot more interesting. Everything about it will be, but the start specifically in Conquest. Cerberus getting some love. Increase the damage per tick from 15 to 55. to 20 to 60 on his Ghastly Breath. Soul Expulsion increased to range from 40 to 50. I really like that change. I didn't think the leap needed to be that big, but I didn't think it needed to be Camazot's level short. So I do like that change. And this is an interesting change. Stygian Torment. Decreased the post fire from 1.4 to 0.1, so big change there. But Cerberus is now crippled for 1.2 seconds after firing this ability. So you can still set up your teammates perfectly, but you can't use that crazy ult and then do damage yourself, you know what I mean? So he also is knockback and knock up immune for 1.2 seconds, however, though. So while you're crippled and can't really do anything, you can't be exposed for that, which is cool. This ability now auto-activates all 3 heads. So now Ghastly Breath and Stygian Torment will do that for your first ability. Freya. Brizingham's Blessing. Okay, I've never actually fully just read that ability out. There we go. That's our passive. Change magical lifesteal from 15% to 5%, plus 5% per level, ending at 15%. Okay, so it's interesting. Yeah, that ability. Not even gonna attempt it. Can't attempt that word. Decrease damage from 40 to 100 to 35 to 95, and then decrease the magical power scaling from 25 to 20 per shot. I don't get this. Maybe... I know they usually look at the competitive scene and rank scene a lot more. Or not even really rank, just the competitive. But I didn't think Freya was doing, you know, that much to have just complete nerfs all around. I'm not saying she's been underperforming. She's been, you know, doing really well, but maybe I just haven't encountered a Freya that's just been taken off. That could very well be it. I just haven't seen a lot of Freyas doing enough to require these type of changes, but that's just one person, so who am I to say that? Khepri, Abduct, decreased the cooldown by 1 second. Solar Flare decreased the cooldown by 2 seconds, so some buffs for Khepri overall. I love that. Khepri was my second diamond ever. Scylla, Quick Learner, increased the power per stack from 20 to 25. And Sikkim gets an increased power scaling by 5%. Ooh, my girl Serket, she getting love? Probably not. She'll probably get some nerfs. Oh, no. Yeah, she did. Increased the cooldown from 10 seconds to 3 seconds on Death Main, and decreased the physical protection reduction from 15% to 10%. So, kind of figured a Serket nerf was happening. I just didn't want it to. Uller? Are we getting Uller changes? Please? Obviously, we're getting Uller changes. I just don't want them to buff him. I don't think they'll do that, but keep in mind, the only reason Uller got those buffs was for the tier 5 skin. We know that, so look at all these notes. He had to get nerfed big time. Oh yeah, I can already tell. Bladed Arrow decreased the physical power scaling from 80% to 70%, and then decreased the physical power scaling on Hail of Arrows. Well, actually, no, he didn't get nerfed that bad. They're just doing the scaling. We'll see how it works. He'll still have all that crazy base damage and that crazy level 1 damage. But like they say here, Uller is still a difficult god to execute well. That's not a lie. The reason he looks so unbalanced and kind of is because while he is difficult to execute, Smite's been out for years and people have been executing Uller for years. So there is a good bit of people who are master Ullers, and even if Uller is bad, he's still good because of that crazy combo and stance switch that he can do. So when you make his stats good, it just helps those Uller players even more. Vamana, Colossal Fury, increased the protections gained from 5 to 25 to 15 to 35, and added a targeter to indicate the hit area. Yes, I love this change. Vamana's my main solo laner, and when I first played Vamana, I said he has the worst ult in the game. That's not true. I take that back completely, but I think this change was needed because come later game, the ult just wasn't, you were getting taken down too early, I think, so this is going to help a little bit. And my biggest struggle was I couldn't hit the basics. I didn't know, like, they were always just a little more faster than me, and that wasn't supposed to be the case, especially when you pair it with Frostbound Hammer. So hopefully this will give you a little better indicator on how that works. That is going to wrap it up for this patch, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, share this video around. Social media links are in the description, and be on the lookout for all of these skins to come out soon. And I will be doing a video on the new god as well. So be on the lookout for them. That is all for this video, guys. Thank you for the support. Peace.